Right, so this is Cigna. This is a big insurance company, healthcare insurance. I lost touch with a lot of these companies, but I'm back and I'm here to destroy you. Oh, as usual, all my models are in my GitHub, so you can check those out. I have been doing a lot of startup stuff and programming, so I'm not like, my models aren't as updated as I'd like to be. Cigna. Global health company, committed to a better future. Okay. Trailblazers. Okay. Hey, I got a product for you. It's called Dr. Gupta. I'll help your customers save a lot of money. I'm not sure if that's what you want. Evernorth. What a great name. If you just keep going ever north, though, you will end up in the South. I hope they understand that. So I guess they bought Express Scripts a while back. And Script and Accredo. I guess Express Scripts had a couple of those, if I'm not mistaken. They bought Accredo and Script. So I think they have like a big government business, if I'm not mistaken. They say they care about DEI, but okay, 71% are women. That's a lot, actually. 39% minorities. That's pretty good. I'll give that DEI a good score. Government is 14% of their business. Okay, so not that much. 67,000 pharmacies participated in one of our networks. Okay. Who's the boss? Brian Ivanko is the CFO. He's 46. Eric Palmer is the CEO. All right, let's look at this stuff. So here is the income statement. Oh, come on, I'll speak at your university investment club for free. You know I would never charge you guys. The number pad. Did you guys all see Lloyd Blankfein's tweet about his 12C calculator? He said the battery ran out after 40 years. It's like, dude, you can buy a new battery. That's why I keep it on me. I mean, right now I've got my calculator in the other room and it's in a safe because I don't like to leave it out while the cat's around. I don't want the cat hitting the wrong keys, you know what I mean? So I put it in the safe. I got a permit and everything. I don't leave home without it. I keep it on me. Keep it with me. Uzi, nah. 12C, HP 12C. Hewlett-Packard. Not Hewlett-Packard, Hewlett-Packard. I think there's a 12C emulator. So in real talk, it was my Uncle Nick that had a 12C. No joke. And I was like 7 or 8 years old. Get that Platinum? The Platinum came out later. Imagine if you were in 1985 on Wall Street and you came through with the Platinum, like, you'd have every banker like, what? I'm talking about Michael Milken. You get 1980s Michael Milken. There we go. Milken did 2 years. You already know. Look at these computers. Look at these computers. Look at this Quotron right there. Quotron. The realist. You got the switchboard. You see that? That's the switchboard right there. Every brokerage firm is dialing in. Doop, First Boston, what's up? Bloop, DLJ. Bloop, Drexel Burnham. And you see what Milken did. He's got the 8:30 reservation at Dorja. Of course, he's going to have the scallops. See, he was a new kind of banker in the 80s. He didn't have the suspenders. I was rocking the suspenders. Yeah, I was 6 years old, so what? You guys ever heard of the Boom Boom Room? So what he would do is, the client would be like, listen, Michael, I need you to buy $100 million of bonds. So he'd be like, all right, hold up. Yeah, Sally, buy $5 million of bonds in my personal account. Okay, hold on. 100 million, right? Yeah, I got you. Do you need that done right away? No, I can wait a little bit. Okay, great. Okay, cool. Yeah, Sally, sell all those bonds. Thank you. Bye. The rules weren't that clear back then. But homie did a little time. No big deal. 2 years. He got the pardon. Got the presidential pardon. Cool. Then there was the boom boom room. This was not great. Let's see. So they actually made an actual boom boom room, but this was at Salomon Brothers. And so basically, yeah, I mean, you can read it. It wasn't good. Smith Barney, Shearson Amex, less than 5% of Smith Barney's 11,000 brokers are female, and less still are minorities. 440 branch officers, but less than 10 are female. Inappropriate comments, hostile work environment. Okay. But I want to know about the boom boom room. Oh, Jesus Christ, look at this one. For example, on more than one occasion, in an attempt to intimidate Martins, opened the top drawer of his desk and pulled out a gun. At one of Solomon Smith Barney's Christmas parties, 𝗠𝗏𝗍𝗑 boasted to the attendees, "We achieved the status as the biggest whorehouse in Garden City." 𝗠𝗏𝗍𝗑 left a female broker in tears after commenting to her, "There must be a lot of pressure on you to spread your likes." Oh, that's terrible. After hiring an attractive female as a trainee, 𝗠𝗏𝗍𝗑 openly boasted that he had just hired a Playboy bunny. So there was a basement party room, I guess, in their office in Long Island, and that was called the Boom Boom Room. And this lawsuit, basically tore apart quite a bit of the that culture in 80s Wall Street. 𝗠𝗏𝗍𝗑 set the tone by constructing a room in the basement of the branch office, which he named the Boom Boom Room. He decorated it in a fraternity house style, including hanging a toilet bowl from the ceiling. Served Bloody Marys to mail brokers who were summoned to the Boom Boom Room over the PA system. There they would joke amongst themselves that females who did not behave would be dealt with in the Boom Boom Room. During her only visit to the Boom Boom Room, he grabbed her and kissed her on the lips. Pretty scary. So yeah, that was what Wall Street sort of looked like in the 80s. Nothing to be proud of, that's for sure. Who else was a big hitter in the 80s on Wall Street? There was this one guy, Ivan Boesky. I think he finally passed away. I guess this is what happened after prison. Not a good look, huh? There's the 80s Boesky. Who else was a big hitter in Wall Street in the 80s? Soros, certainly. There's a bunch of interesting people I shouldn't mention. But I guess one or two I'll mention is John Mulheren. I don't think there's too many Mulheren pictures. Mulheren was a big dude. There was John Merriwether. Epstein wasn't a big hitter. There was the Bear Stearns CEO. What's his name again? Really old dude. Greenberg. This guy was like one of the most beloved guys on Wall Street. And he was hustling even when he was like 80. Big hitter meaning like lots of money, big shot, that kind of stuff. 80s Wall Street was pretty different. Of course you had Icahn, who stayed a big hitter for a long time. Yeah, Soros is very old, 90 years old now, right? Julian Robertson, rest in peace. There's a bunch of dudes from Salomon Brothers, like John 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and others. Rothschild, definitely not a Wall Street thing. You know who Safra was the was it Edmond Safra? He was a big one back then. He was one of the biggest like private banking type dudes. Today's biggest, I think we all know who those are. Citadel, Millennium, 2Sigma, Steve Cohen's still on top. Certainly Renaissance. Yeah, I don't know whatever happened to Dennis Levine. If I had to pick between finance and tech, I'd probably do tech. All right, so Cigna's revenue has been pretty small growth, but when you're in healthcare services, it's hard to grow very fast. I wonder what their organic growth is. Organic growth is growth without acquisitions, if you don't know about what that means. So there's this weird investment returns, a couple of lines here, but they're so small that I'm just going to put them into this number. And that should be fine. Insurance companies, and I'm not saying Cigna is exactly an insurance company, and look how it goes from revenue straight to net income. It's really kind of kind of scary. There's no actual operating results. I hope they give more disclosure than this. I'm sure they do. But yeah, there's no like MLR. There's no COGS in health plans anyway. It's called MLR, or basically medical costs, medical loss ratio, etc. Yeah, we skipped some steps. Let's take their word for it though, and just look at their net income. So I was sort of bearish when Biden got elected. I figured that him and Kamala and AOC and all these people would tear these companies apart, and they haven't. They've been focused on not sure what, something else. So okay, here's all the numbers. So we'll put those in a second. I just want to glance at the balance sheet real quick. I don't know how they're even allowed to split it up like this. Maybe I've seen a couple of these 10Ks and Qs. Okay. There's that. So let's see, cash is like 26 billion. But it's weird because you have to include like all their payables, and so it looks like they have a net debt position. Maybe 10 billion. But they're making between 7 to 10 billion a year. So anyway, the point is it's like 10 times earnings, but which is kind of cheap if you can rely on those earnings. And these companies have been able to grow earnings for years, which makes them bargains. But the problem is the music has to stop someday for HMOs, right? There's not more people getting born in America, right? Or actually, you might even get a fertility crisis. I'm going to do my best to reverse that trend single-handedly, but even I'm not, capable of that. So I think that without net new lives, there's no way for these companies to grow without cannibalizing each other. So the only other way they grow is like inflation, and I think people have gotten sick of healthcare cost inflation. I can testify to that. Like the only other way they can grow is other types of services and data and stuff like that. So it's hard for them to grow. And that's why it's 10 times earnings, right? They could grow through less expenses from AI, but typically the MLR book tends to collapse over time regardless. So like the book gets priced like at a cost plus type thing. So if their medical costs drop, their premiums will drop too. So yeah, hopefully GPT sort of ends that nonsense, right? It's nonsense. We've been paying billions, even trillions, folks. We've been paying trillions of dollars to these people, and we could just be using GPT. All right, folks? I'm going to cut your pharmacy bill in half. I'm going to cut your doctor bill 99%. You're just going to go to the website. You're never going to need a doctor again. You want surgery? GPT will handle it. If you're a doctor, well, better learn the code. And I, for the life of me, I've been in pharma my whole life. I don't know what these PBMs do, or like why they exist, or how they're useful. But they still look like they make around at least gross margin 3 or 4 billion a year, and they own Express Scripts, which they basically kind of aggregate drug spend, right? If you want to become a quantitative investor, you'd have to be a very strong mathematician or computer programmer, or ideally both. It's not easy, and you have to work in a team and stuff like that. All right, so here's medical costs. So this is going to be MLR. Here's premiums. Here's 2710. Here's 562. And the funny thing about the MLR is it's very much like cartel. So if you break the cartel, you have to deal with the cartel. I'm joking, but the MLR always tends to be around 80%. It's very kind of odd. You can see Cigna is actually, okay, Cigna's in the 80s. So if your MLR is too high, you will gain a lot of contracts, but you'll sort of piss off the other HMOs. If your MLR is too low, you're making too much money and you'll lose business to the other HMOs. So everyone's trying to like keep their book price at 80%. It's very kind of a little odd. So you can see they make $7 or $8 billion a year from being a health managed care provider. It's not even health insurance anymore. It's just managed care. They manage the care. And what's interesting, right, is they have $40 billion of healthcare premiums, and look at those premiums are actually dropping. That's really interesting. I wonder if their population is dropping, but it's really interesting that their premiums are dropping. Isn't that odd? Premium revenue has dropped from $43 billion to $41 billion to $40 billion. It's kind of interesting. And here's the cost to actually run the company. Pretty significant, actually. 14, 13, 13. So operating margin is basically, I guess it's revenue minus this, minus that. So like $10 billion a year, very consistently in operating income. Of course, they got to pay taxes and other interest expenses and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe Sarah is saying the right thing. Healthcare costs can't grow forever, right? I would agree with that. And in fact, technology will be brought to bear to break the cost of healthcare. That's one of my new products that I'm hopefully coming out with in the next few weeks. Look at that. You want some treats? How about up here? Yeah. You're a skinny kitty, huh? You're a little mangy, skinny, 2 pound, 3 pound kitty. Yes, I love you. Yes, I do. Yes, I love you. Yes, I do. They see me rolling, they hating, patrolling 'cause I'm meowing dirty. Okay. Of course she purrs. She purrs anytime I put my hand on her. She's purring. Purr. You don't scratch me, kitty, or you get the crisper again.